Hello everyone and welcome back to Starladder TV, the Star Series, Season 11. We have now made our way into America, and we only got one little spicy matchup for you, best of one, featuring NoT Today going against Pain Gaming. Should be a fun one right here. Sorry about the delay on getting things started and underway. We did have a bit of server issues, and then we had to, of course, file everyone back into the lobby, but regardless, we are going to be having a game today. Let's get those overlays popping right now. And, well, KotLGuy, myself, bringing you the casting. And once again, I'm going to be joined remotely from good friend Blaze. Welcome back, my friend. Did you enjoy your break? Oh, hold on. That's my fault. Can you repeat that? I had Skype muted.
No problem at all. Yeah, had a nice little break, ate some dinner, hung out with my son, and now I'm ready to roll with some SA Dota. These two teams are really, like, I mean, obviously NoT Today were very impressive in the Summit to America region, and Pain Gaming have been really pulling out some upset wins as well. So to see them clash here in obviously it's a global tournament, but to see two South American teams going against each other, I'm sure they've scrimmed a ton. And I'm looking forward to see what this best one brings.
And we'll have to see, yeah. And like you said, congratulations, of course, to NoT Today. They have secured their way to the Summit 2 LAN here at the house, and we will hopefully get to see them compete on LAN without having to deal with the ping they usually go into here. Both of these teams will probably have a little bit of it here in the USD server, but you know, it's going to be neat to see them on LAN performance and see how they do. Hopefully, I have my fingers crossed that we have no trouble along the way, you know, visas and all that stuff, but if it works out, we'll get to see some strong talent here in the house. But they're going to be taking on Pain Gaming. Pain Gaming, formerly known as CMB Esports for a while. They're another team that have been together, but as far as really finding their groove on trying to take it to the next level, it seems like they're still working with that. But they do have definitely a lot of experience with each other, and they're going to lead things off. Ancient Apparition, Centaur Warrunner, what we have not seen yet today. And for NoT Today, they get a hold of the Death Prophet. Ember Spirit could potentially be the second pick. It's been a go-to for NoT Today for quite a while, but it is early in the Star Series run, and they're going against Pain Gaming. They could also get a little bit more fun, a little more flexible here. We'll have to see.
Definitely. I mean, this is going to be the American metagame more so than the European one, so we're going to see a large variance in picks here. For these guys, this really comes down to initiation. Ancient Apparition, Centaur Warrunner, decent against Death Prophet in their own ways because the Ice Blast will prevent DP from healing via mech or via her ultimate, and the Centaur Warrunner can kite her when they don't want to take a fight, as well as having the really powerful burst damage that might even be able to kill her off before she gets the Yules off. So there's a lot of ways you can take the fights there. Again, it comes down to initiation, but Faceless Void, he is actually one of the more powerful initiators and counter-initiators here with the Chronosphere. We'll be able to set up Death Prophet for a lot of damage, 2 Crypt Swarms, and a lot of exorcism damage, and that could be setting themselves to not only take the fight, but of course the tower after the fact. So I'm honestly curious what Pain's answer is. I think that a Silencer would be really powerful to go alongside the Centaur. You combine the Stampede with the Global Silence, and there's almost nothing the opponent can do.
Yeah, I think a silence would be nice, and a support, if they put them in a support position that a lot of teams don't really take advantage of, especially when most of these teams like to go for their big ultimate plays, and they put it all in there as far as just waiting around those big ultimates. And we'll see if they go down that road. Skywrath Mage is going to be banned. I was just going to say it could have been a prominent pickup there for pretty much either team, but considering the fact that Pain Gaming probably have something else in mind, they ban out that Skywrath Mage. We'll see if NoT Today look to go for the next best thing, being the Witch Doctor and having that Death Ward if they want to go down that road. They still do need to get those supports, mind you, but in this banning phase, they're going to eliminate what looks like the Earthshaker here. Ban being passed over now to Pain Gaming. We'll see where they take it, but I also should just give everyone the opportunity to look at the current standings right here for America. We'll pop it up right there for people to look over. It's the Sneaky Nyx Assassins currently holding the top position with already 6 matches played of their 8 in this round robin, or actually of their 7 if they're playing one of each team. They're already securing a nice spot there at the top with a 5-1 record. E-Hug just behind them, currently sporting a 3-0 record. Pain Gaming, who we're playing right now, are holding the 3rd spot at a 2-2, and NoT Today, well, they're off to a pretty rough start in the Star Series. They're 0-2, unfortunately, so they definitely are going to be needing some of these wins to really bounce back, and securing one here against Pain Gaming will certainly help in that. So Witch Doctor is actually going to be banned from Pain Gaming, so they eliminate both Skywrath and Witch Doctor. We're not going to be seeing either of them, so not today. You're going to have to reach somewhere else as far as support to help out with that Chronosphere.
Yeah, but it's still going to be initiating heroes for Pain Gaming here. They've got the Puck, so they can lock people in with the Coil, follow it up with the Ice Blast very nicely here. Puck is actually one of the few heroes that can actually dodge out a Chrono with skills alone, so maybe has an orb up, is able to phase Jonto out of a dangerous situation, but otherwise has to be a little bit wary of that Death Prophet silence. Before the Puck picks up with the Yule Scepter, the Death Prophet can lock him down pretty hard, and they can just chase from there. I don't think the DP will go for an Atos against a Centaur team, but it's still like still possible for him to be in range and just having the spells to do the damage. But one thing to mention is that Ogre has actually not been picked up by either side just yet. It's popular across the world right now as a very powerful support because he's just so tanky, and of course because he can give late game stability to carry via the Bloodlust. So I think that he is a very prime pick, but it doesn't look like Pain want to go for it, and obviously Not Today have plenty of picks ahead.
Yeah, I think either team could pretty much make good use of an Ogre if it manages to make its way through. Not Today need to start dipping in their support bank, so we could very well see it right here. I wouldn't mind seeing him being that bouncer of the lane and adding a lot of pressure to Centaur. He could also get an early pair of boots and really run around the map and add aggression all over the place. There's not really a whole lot you can do to a Puck. We saw that in one of the first games earlier today. There's that Vengeful Spirit. Most of the drafts we saw Vengeful grabbed up ripe and early, and I almost forgot about her, but there it's going to be, and it also could be a deny support takeaway from Pain Gaming, who could have been counting on a VS right there. Having that swap going against the Chrono certainly helps, but now Not Today are going to pick it up for themselves, and they get to benefit that much more from the wave of terror, and they're already on Dire's side, so doing the Roche is that much easier with the Exorcism. So Not Today are putting together a pretty good foundation to their draft so far, if I have to say.
Yeah, I really like the Vengeful Spirit. It's going to enable them to maneuver a lot better, and I just like the Vengeful Spirit in general and a lineup that needs the negative armor to deal its damage. So here they could go for like the Ogre Magi still and really enhance the Faceless Void's damage as much as can be. We have seen this draft work out pretty well. We have the Faceless Void get involved early, and whether he's an offlaner or a safe lane still has yet to be decided. There are a lot of great safe lane core heroes that will go very well with Chronosphere Initiation and the enhancement that a Vengeful Spirit could provide. The Medusa is one we talk about all the time because it's so hard to counteract her when she has so many other things going for her, like the Chronosphere and the Exorcism of her allies. But yeah, if they wanted to go for that heavy-handed initiation, Pain might be able to up the tempo and outpace that. So still has to be in consideration for Not Today, but I don't know if it's actually the timing of a lineup that they want.
There's that Ogre. It's going to be picked up on the side of Pain Gaming here, so they have a reasonable balance between the Ogre and now the AA. One can be more selfless while the other can get a bit more aggressive now. Not Today. Felt like for a moment there they might be able to have free and easy laning phase, but Ogre's now going to be here, and we'll have to see what his motives are going to be during the early laning phase or not. Puck's already going to be a bit scot-free, and what I would imagine being that mid lane setup right there as far as early aggression. Knows that's going to be a tough task going against the Death Prophet, but not going to be too much worried about it. So now you have this big beefcake squad between Ogre and Centaur. Strong initiation, but they're both melee, so they can be pretty susceptible to getting caught out in the Chronosphere. And I really like this Viper grab right now from Not Today. Now you have the kiting ability right there. This Ogre and Centaur Warrunner are going to have a real hard time getting in and getting out unless they always have Stampede at the ready.
Yeah, I really do like the pickup here for the Viper. It's one that they actually run quite frequently, and they have a lot of potential with this hero. Right now, they are 5-2 with it and 6.82, and yeah, it's just one of those heroes that can do a lot of work in the laning stage and be able to project yourselves into a good mid game. It's going to survive well against all this magical nuke with the corrosive skin, and if you're actually matched up against the Centaur, you force them to either take a lot of damage or not skill return, because the return will proc the corrosive skin, which you just don't want. So yeah, it's a good hero overall, and we'll see if it gets tanky enough early enough to be able to withstand the major damage that's going to be coming out of Pain.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Not Today did run a Viper in that core safe lane position. Ewo was the one who played it up, and Ewo is typically one to play more of like the Morphlings and 4 Protect 1. Can make strong use still out of someone like Viper. He'll bring together some really strong right-click damage that can contribute a lot to the outside of that Chrono, and we're looking forward to that. Overall, though, not too much late game involved here with NoT today. Maybe looking to take the best out of that mid-game period when they can take really a lot of strong team fights and objectives to follow up from them. But here's going to be the most significant late game popping up right now. It's going to be for Pain Gaming here. It looks like it's going to be a 40R PA now. Phantom Assassin, who is quickly rising to the top of the charts as far as being picked up by everyone, now even pubs because of that recent Arcana grab. And they're saying that it might be the first month that a PA will kind of be out picking a Pudge in pub play. That's crazy. It just goes to show how much we're seeing this little lady, and I hope they have the Arcana.
Yeah, it's always more fun to watch when you have the ching-ching of the ultimate, but yeah, we do see that there is going to be a lot of potential for this hero to run away from the draft. Like, the Faithless Void and Viper's contributions to the early game is going to be limited because of how powerful that Blur passive is. I still think, though, the Death Prophet is going to be the core aspect of NoT today's lineup. Like, obviously, when Smash is playing any hero, it becomes really a hero that the lineup is centered about. But in this case here, it's of the utmost importance that Smash gets a lot of farm, including survivability, because if he doesn't live long enough for the Exorcism to damage into the PA, there's really nothing that they can do to her. The Shadow Shaman can lock her down, but the Magic Missile and the Ether Shock are the only major magical dukes you're going to see. I mean, you're going to see, like, the ultimate from the Viper as well as the Crypt Swarm against her too, but in general she's going to have enough HP to survive just against those two abilities. So what it comes down to is the Death Prophet staying alive, getting a ton of damage out with the Exorcism, and that's going to be the undoing of PA, if anything.
Yeah, and there's just so much lockdown now on NoT today. The CC is very much a real thing here between their lineup. Now with Shadow Shaman being grabbed, a support we haven't seen a whole lot of as of recent. I mean, if it was back in the day with the old map layout and it's on Dire side like they are now, it would be almost a guaranteed support grab or ban out. But now it's just been few and far between, and NoT today are going to try to make the best of it. We'll see how it goes here. We hop into the matchup now. Pain Gaming versus NoT today, a Southern American affair right now between these two squads. And I'll just go ahead and lead off your introductions here. On the Radiant side, we got Pain Gaming, formerly known as CMB Esports. It's going to be Gren, TXD. He's playing your off-lane Centaur Warrunner along the mid lane. We got King RD playing that mid lane core Puck. On the bottom, we got our tri-lane setup here. It's going to be Baga playing your Ogre Magi. Just nearby, we got Mr. VSW here. I believe this is either an alias or maybe a stand-in. I've never seen VSW before. We'll have to see. But on the bottom lane, to round it out, it's going to be 40R playing that PA, and yes, he does have the Arcana.
Yeah, VSW's actually been playing for Pain for about a week or two. He's actually relatively new to the roster, but he is not an alias. This is one independent person, and he's actually drafting up for the team. So seems to be working out pretty well for him, but it is something new to the lineup as a whole.
We'll see here. And Dire side, Blaze, if you wouldn't mind, as the sound of the horn does lead off, why don't you tell me a little bit about who NoT today is?
Yeah, sure enough, we're going to see picking up the bounty rune here. There's going to be Mihawk on the Faceless Void. I'll change his name just slightly to Nihawk here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is going to be taking that offlane Faceless Void. It is going to be on the mid lane here. Smash on your Death Prophet, getting Tango's pooled and starting off with the stats build up for him. Masoku is going to be supporting on the Vengeful Spirit, already warding things off and just playing almost entirely with consumables, only one branch to his name. Anyways, that's going to be Mysticow on your Shadow Shaman. Also, very bare bones, just a Smoke of Deceit and branch for himself. And of course, it's going to be the core Viper up top. Ewo, with the boots first, is going to give this Centaur hell. This is going to be a really rough lane for him. Yeah,
this is a nightmare right now. And, you know, something they should have definitely anticipated with that Viper grab. If they'd been doing their research with NoT today, they know with Death Prophet already picked up first, her residing in that mid lane, that leaves Viper to be in a safe lane core position. And now your big bad Centaur is looking like, well, a little bitch. As right now he's already being harassed back under the tower, and he's not liking this whatsoever. So it's going to be a very delayed game for Centaur, and he doesn't really have the luxury of kind of having a efficiency in jungle that he can fall back on like your Bat Rider and Nature's Prophet. So it might be a long day for Brad here. But on the bottom lane, on their side, they are going to be pulling the creeps. Ooh, does he get it? He gets a couple of them. It's better than nothing, I suppose, but he'll get those two creeps quickly denied, and that's enough for this Creepolibrium to start pushing down to the south and, well, closer to the tower for their PA to work with.
Yeah. The one thing about Grant here is that he's not really actually going to be able to alternate into the jungle unless he skills return, which he shouldn't be doing if he ever intends to come back to the lane. So I honestly think that both options are kind of negated from him with this matchup, and as you creep pulls are coming through from Mosoku, it's going to be very difficult for him to actually get an experience range. I think he's going to be actually sitting at level 2 for a long time. Does get this nice pull off here. We'll see if it's disrupted by the supports.
Yep, gets it done right there, and they're doing a bit more on the other side. It's a bit of a mirror match as it stands right now, but the new runes are being popped up right now, and the top one's going to be snagged. It's a haste rune here, and Mosoku would love to be able to put this to strong use right now towards that mid lane, but she is scouted out. There's a ward on the high ground up over here, so with that knowledge, King RD is going to wait it out a little bit, but he is coming in from behind. He would love to snag this courier, but they do the smart thing. They're going to walk the courier down and around and away from this path. Just that one ward there at the top is giving him all this bits of intel, and you know, now Mosoku is going to have to use that haste rune to hustle back to the top lane where he came from.
And that's the only thing that could really be accomplished there. Because the Death Prophet isn't going to be skilling Silence up in the early game, the King RD, it's not too difficult, even on whatever their ping is, to dodge out a magic missile with phase shift. So yeah, the Vengeful Spirit doesn't have any chance of killing the puck, but the courier snipe was definitely in the cards if that ward wasn't there. So very nice for them to get that out early from the Centaur. And he's actually going to be on the move here. Knows he can't do anything in the lane or the jungle. He'll just make his move across the map, and smoked up with Baga, they have some real potential against Smash here.
Yeah, a ganking Centaur is not something you would expect coming your way. So Pain Gaming thinking outside the box and making the best with this one. They are playing it very patiently, smoked up here. Smash trying to block the creeps. Let's see how far he pushes forward, because there's a reasonable amount of lockdown here to work with if they can get something off. Smash does show himself here in the mid lane now, and that's going to be enough for them to push forward. They're going to get the Fire Blast and Ignite combo off. There's going to be the Orb. They get one stun, and they get the job done. And look at that, Blaze. Of all people to pick it up, it's going to be Little Gren, TXD, the guy who's been struggling. But they also could fall through. They're going to get something like KRD. Oh, quick shift bottle up here, but nope. Going to be zapped down the Ether Shock. But another quick return kill on the Vengeful Spirit, and a double kill now for Gren. Oh, this roaming Centaur is suddenly a very happy boy.
Yeah, he's the one to profit the most off of all of that there. The Vengeful Spirit does help the Shadow Shaman out, and he's actually going to be able to build up the Flying Courier and Boots off of that puck kill. So nice for Mystic Cow as well, but the one who desperately needed it was definitely that Centaur. He is now going to be able to build up Tranquil Boots if he intends to go back to the lane, and yeah, he's going to have a very nice time moving in towards that Blink Dagger.
And here we go. Top is going to be a Invis rune, which they're going to share a bit of the bottle. And look at that. They're going to hand the Invis off to Shadow Shaman and see if they can make use of it here in the mid lane. But mind you, that ward has still been up there on the high ground. They know this is happening right now. And King RD is not going to distinctly show he knows, but he is definitely going to put himself into a safer spot. And Shadow Shaman is not really going to find an opportunity here to make a go for a gank. So might have to adventure elsewhere instead. Bottom lane, which we haven't touched base too much on, and we're going to see an engagement right here. Wave is going to catch out, and poor little AA is going to be in big trouble. One more right click, and they do get it. It's Vengeful Spirit who picks up that one. Your newcomer will go down.
And Mystic Cow is in a really bad position here. Went all the way to the high ground of the enemy side. They thought they'd get a gank off, but the ganker becomes the gankee as he is met with 3 heroes, all with boots, all ready to rough and tumble. And yeah, he will be going down here. Just an unfortunate feed, but it does happen. We do see now Smash is actually falling behind in CS behind the puck here. Was at an advantage, and now the puck is pulling ahead just by 1 or 2, and that is going to be able to move in towards his Blink Dagger very quickly.
Yeah, so things have changed right now, and Centaur, who had stepped away quite a while from the off-lane position, I guess still caught Not Today off guard a bit there as they were trying to get a gank themselves, and now he does make his return back to the off-lane. Probably going to go for some Tranquils here momentarily, but for now is waiting it back. Ewo sees him and is going to resume his bullying and his bit of free farm. Ewo is on top of the charts as far as CS, sporting a very nice 39 and 15. Continue to deny so much, even with no one in the lane. Just wanted to be sure he got as much efficiency as possible, I suppose. But here we go. Rune is going to be snagged up in front of their face. Baga takes it and throws a Fire Blast out on Void and says, "Get the hell out of here." Sends him right back to the lane. And, well, still 3-2. Pain Gaming, slight advantage. It's very early to look at the net worth graph, but just a slight nudge right now towards Pain's favor. Oh, bottom lane, they make a go, and before you know it, they actually burst down Faceless Void, and they turn their sights Mosoku. They're looking for a follow-through. They get the crit there, but they're not going to keep pushing for it. They do, however, still get that Precious Core, and Void goes down.
KRD is actually going to go for a TP here to the top lane. Not sure if they actually feel they can make it go, or it's just a Centaur walking away. I noted this when he left, but he actually just bought the Ring of Protection and didn't actually look into the Ring of Regen. I'm not sure if he thought, I only have 250 unreliable gold instead of 350, so I can buy it at the side shop, or what, but he never actually got that opportunity, and he's making the way all the way back home, while KingRD decides, okay, this is not a lane for me either, and despite the TP, we'll just meander back to the mid lane.
Yeah, so, that was a bit awkward. So KingRD wasted a lot of time just kind of moving to the top lane when the Centaur wasn't even ready. And we'll have to wait it out a bit. Very, very itchy to make use of this Dream Coil. In fact, he plants down a pretty aggressive ward on the opponent's side just so that when he can't shoot to the other way with a big coil, he'll have all the proper vision he could ask for. So this for now will be persistent on staying and farming in this position. PA 47-13 as far as CS, just there behind the farm of that Viper, but he's finding what he wants for now in this bottom lane period. Faceless Void, still level 5, looking to get to that level 6 and see if they decide to immediately pull out some Chronospheres from thereafter. Still relatively quiet, and Shaman's been more on jungle stacking duty, just kind of constantly farming it up there in the jungle and aiding it about for his potential cores to kind of take advantage of.
Masoku and Mystica have been on point with these stacks. So the Death Prophet has already cleared out a triple stack on the eastern that's respawned just the trolls, but she's able to clear that with Crypt Swarms, and they actually have stacked up both camps to the west of that. Obviously, they've got this nice triple stack. No blood golems at all, which is incredible to me. And yeah, able to just get a huge amount of efficient gold the way of Smash. So really, this is what Not Today like to set up Smash for success. And with the bottle crowing and stuff, he always has mana to spam out these Crypt Swarms. That's going to put him just another step above his opposition there. I mean, now he was actually behind the puck. Now he's 10 CS above. And those are very dense creeps when it comes down to gold on those hard camps.
Yeah, nice little trade between CS lead and both mid laners, but I'm really curious to see when either of these mid laners really look to branch off once they start to build up those levels. Smash is yet to invest anything into his ultimate just yet, probably nursing it till he gets his level 10, then follows it through with the 11. But right now, just taking that farm. I also wasn't sure who was going to really be taking all of this jungle farm, but it looks like they're going to designate it for Smash right now as he begins to slowly Crypt Swarm them down with Phase Boots and a Null. Probably going to build right into the Yules thereafter. Pretty cookie cutter stuff as far as Death Prophet goes, but this jungle farm certainly does help accelerate that quite a bit.
Yeah, but this definitely is a Death Prophet-centric lineup. He's the only one that can really kill the PA, so they need him to get big farm. They're going to try to smoke gank him, but just a little bit too quick on his feet. The Max Witchcraft, the Phase Boots, they kind of wait around in mid for a very long time, and they're like, okay, he's not coming back, he's got to be elsewhere. But going up that ramp is going to break their smoke, and he's going to get out fine.
Yeah, no problem right there. Death Prophet, fast as ever. Just keeps resuming. Nothing had ever happened. Bottom lane, they push out to their own side farm. Looks like Mihawk has to head himself right back to base. About to throw together his power treads, but, you know, still not off to as strong of a start as he would probably like here. According to the last hits, 13-2 on your off-lane Faceless Void. Pretty low in the net worth. It just shows how things have changed around. You know, Centaur did benefit from that big double kill, but really in the lane hasn't achieved a whole lot, but he's still finding more than the Faceless Void, at least as far as farm goes. So both off-laners struggling a little bit here, but Centaur, all he cares about is getting a hold of that Blink Dagger. I just don't know if he's going to ever find it here in this top lane. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's very slow going for him in a single Viper Strike, and he's going to be either dead or forced to use a Stampede if he has found his level 6. In either case, he's just not a happy camper up here, and it's been well under control from Masoku. He stopped stacking the jungle just to focus on zoning, and Grunt XT has been the one that they really take away from there. It's going to be on the western side here. Baga's looking for some stacks of his own, so we can see maybe the PA looks to clear that out, or maybe even the Centaur will be able to use a couple of double edges on that one. The last one on the list would obviously be KingRD himself, and he could benefit from it for the early blink too. I mean, I guess if you think about it, if the puck can get the blink dagger out early enough, the Centaur can kind of just go for stampede plays and not necessarily need the 100% instant initiation.
And we'll see when it's going to be before he can start throwing out some stampedes. He's very, very close to his level 6, just trying to dance close enough to get within that XP circle, and then he'll feel much better about maybe making some more engagements happen elsewhere. Stampedes at moments when they were just about to get that smoke hit could certainly help out. So we'll see how much UC they can put in. It's probably something I'd imagine that Pain Gaming are really counting on. A strong mid-game period, taking advantage of those stampedes and those coils from Puck to be able to divert attention and allow PA to really farm up and be a nuisance in the late game, where she should pretty much not have a whole lot of competition if she can find that farm. But it is a Smash Death Prophet, after all, who's definitely profiting a lot from the gold she's been farming here in the jungle, and can really be a true nuisance as far as going for objective gaming. So it's really hard to say and foresee how far this game is going to go. 4-2 doesn't give a lot of information, but I'd imagine at some point we're going to see one of these teams really, put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, it is worth noting this VSW guy hasn't really been with the team all that long. He actually replaced Ned only a couple weeks ago, so essentially he was stepping away from the team. They needed somebody to fill his shoes, and I think he's performed quite well, but I don't know if the coordination is going to be 100% on point. They kind of make it a little easy this draft by just saying, okay, whenever we dream clear, you can just AA ulti and that'll be fine. But I think the real strength of Pain's lineup is going to be when they start to find some real synergy among the team members, and VSW can act more instinctively with his allies.
So I don't know if we got to talk about it too much yet, but the Midas was picked up by Ewo, and obviously great time, and he's finding us so much farm that he is about to complete out his mechanism. So this Viper's, it's a dream farm situation right now, and how long do you think Ewo is going to take advantage of this top lane? Is it just till he gets down this tier 1 structure and then he tries to really get involved more, or is he just happy with getting with what he's got and will just stick with this lane as long as possible?
Well, I think they're farming really efficiently. It's actually going to be the Ice Blast up top, though. Ewo will be charged upon, but whether or not that actually admits a kill is going to be another story entirely. He's got 2 buds of Crows again. They're going to jump in. Shackles now the Chrono, and they turn it right back around.
Wow, very nice. Quick Hex coming out from Centaur. He can't even get the stomp off, and, well, they still are persistent. Jumping on in now is going to be the PA. They do fall through and take down the Viper. It's a 1-for-1 trade for now, but look at this. Here comes Smash. Exorcism ablazing, and Baga not going to be able to withstand a whole lot. Will be forced to be taken down. King RD throws out the coil here, but desperately needs to be able to get away from this aggression. Even time leaping that way, they try to go with a small bit of a fake back, but King RD will go down, and it ends up being a 2-for-1 trade, even things up 5 for 5. Not today, definitely get a lot out of it because they don't lose their Smash, they don't lose their Viper. Just the support. Oh, they do lose their Viper.
They do the Viper.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
You're right. Stunned and crit down, but.
But they do work a lot. Pain Gaming had to almost invest the whole team there, with the exception of AA.
Still, Grunt on the back of that will be coming in, looking for the Void. Actually not going to be able to find him as he TP's out. And yeah, Grunt is just going to be back to the farming game looking for that Blink Dagger. Still going to be a while till he can pick that one up. But they keep the tier 1 tower alive. That's more than not today. I can say about their bottom tier 1. And yeah, that's against the Axis of number 1, albeit at a rank 1. He was only level 10 when he popped it. So yeah, it's still going to be kind of a farm game for both sides. You were asking when the Viper would start moving about. They kind of forced it with that PA rotation, but as it stands here, I think he's still pretty happy to find on the top lane. Harassed by Grant, maybe force a Stampede here.
Yeah, he's got it. There's just no question. I mean, Ogre's here. Thankfully, he could dish out a little bit to help out, but they're not going to get anything. Mid lane is where the action's going to be happening, though. 40R gets a nice swift kill, it looks like, on the Vengeful Spirit at the exact same moment. And that pulls Pain Gaming right back on top, and PA is very happy with that grab. So much closer now to getting a hold. He's going straight Battle Fear, but look at this. King is going to go ahead, pull out the coil. Misco going to be taken down, and look who picks up the kill. Dominating a double kill for 40R right now. This PA off to a fantastic start right now, and being able to pull together the farm. It's going to get scary real quick if this PA continues to get what she wants.
Yeah, she went only for a Phantom Strike level 1 build, so she only has the Phantom Strike every 14 seconds. That means that she's relying a lot on her allies to set her up, as well as the Stampede. But if she's in melee range of you, that means she's going to be extremely difficult to kill. She has maxed out Blur already, and of course this Battle Fury. So she's dishing out damage, she's farming quickly, and as long as she can close the distance with the help of her allies, then she's going to be in a prime position to take fights. So she can kind of go greedy, would not go too durable, and just go for skills that will provide her that immortality. And yeah, again, the only answer on the board right now is Smash. And yeah, his last contribution was good, but he needs it to be even more.
Top tower is under attack.
And there's smoke gank towards this mid lane, and it looks like they are going to make the call to go in. Masoku going to get away from this one. Oh, the ice ball is going to go right through, and they're going to catch it. The Stampede's there and available if they want it here, but now here comes Shadow Shaman. They're kind of second-guessing their commitment. Now Centaur, stunned and locked down the wards. This support duo is able to take down Brad. Good grab from them. Commitment issues, it looks like, because mid lane now they're going to get caught out again, this PA. Oh, there's going to be the Yules. No TV for you, sir. PA gets blown up and taken down. And now even a desperate Baga. Nope, no for you, sir. Sorry, that's going to be the Chrono. Take out for that one. 3, one after the other. Done for NoT today. Looked like Pain Gamer were getting a lot there for a while, and PA picked up a couple of kills herself. But now NoT today. Big fight. Oh, big coil, though, on the return from King. But, oh, man. Ends up just getting quickly blown up. Ice Blast does connect, but it's only level 1, and they get the tower.
Has fallen.
Well, it was unexpected. He gets a surprise factor there, but I really don't know if that was the best call. Puck. He is at a level where all his spells do pretty much as much damage as they can, and he did have the Ice Blast follow-up, but that was still a healthy enough team that it just turned out to be a mistake here. And they take the tier 1, a couple of freebies there, and you said takeout. I think that's really what it is. They're just having lunch at this point. They are cruising in, grabbing it to go, and they're going to be able to walk away with a lot of extra gold. Now Ewo farming up some of the camps that was left by Smash here, and man, they've just had a really efficient game when it comes down to their net worth. The PA, I mean, she's taken, what, 4 kills and only died once, yet she is trumped by both the Viper and the Death Prophet.
Yeah. Not going to be happy with that whatsoever. Her prowess to kind of jump in and dish out hefty right-click can get quickly thwarted by the sustainability that Viper has, adding to that with that mech, and of course his Viper strike. And, you know, clearly it shows right there that PA is going to need an answer for it. But, you know, it is funny to see VSW going down the road of getting a Midas right now, about to have it complete on his Ancient Apparition, looking to build up that reliable XP and farm, and maybe blitz forward to an Agnum Scepter at some point. You know, hopefully he'll be able to throw it together, but look who's nearby here. Masoko places a very aggressive ward right behind him, right behind his back.
Smoke, man. You smoke through the entire jungle to place the most unexpected of wards, and you get a gank off of that vision, and that'll be really nice, but the quarry will not find him out, and yeah, he's now in a very awkward spot.
There's the Midas complete now, quickly uses it, and Masoko is just behind enemy lines, sending in that serious intel to the other team. Ewo's pressing forward the mid lane just a little bit, so maybe he can get a bit closer to help engage, but no, still not making it happen. Masoko is just going to be persistent on weighing it about. There's unfriendly neighbors nearby, so this is not the time to really come out of hiding just yet. Maybe waiting to see who will pop up in mid lane. It's going to be quite a while before there's any sort of opportunity for him to make something happen. Looks like PA is going to have to make the long shuffle back to base as she continues to build up that BKB. Uh-oh, there's a ping. Looks like they had an idea.
He was just messing with them. He wave of terrors right before he TPs out, and they're like, what, where's this bench coming from? Might actually give a small indication to wards, but
oh, they're making it go. Mihawk caught with the coil fire blast. The AA ult isn't going to quite connect, which definitely would have secured the kill. Oh my goodness, Mihawk. They make it away. Oh boy, oh boy. That should have been a kill.
Yeah, he backtracked the Dream Coil. That would have killed him. And he just walks away. Very, I mean, heads up play, very calm, cool, collected, deciding to just jump out at that point in time, roll the dice, as it were, and yeah, he's going to be able to, on the back of that 10%, survive and thwart, and a well-committed gank. Now King RD gets silenced out of the Yules, and he's going to be going down.
Easy setup right there. Smash just simply walks forward, sees the puck, Yules him, and there's nothing you can really do if you're King RD at that point. It just is an easy follow-through silence, and puck's not going to be going anywhere. Now crossing past Viper and AA. Oh, this is just death. Nothing you can do. Easy takedown right there for Ewo as he grabs up that support grab. And now NoT today can just move themselves easily down this bottom lane. They have level 2 Exorcism at the ready if they want to use it. They have the wards up on Shadow Shaman if they want to use it. Or hell, maybe they could take the tower without having to use either.
And that Ancient Apparition's Hand of Midas was literally 2 seconds off cooldown next to the creeps. Man, it would have been so nice to get that value and get the extra experience, get the extra gold. It's going to be on mid, though. The Chronosphere will come out. It does hit his tower, but still he has enough damage to do it solo. Viper claiming the nice little last hit there.
Good grab. NoT today. Not only going for a strong offense on the bottom lane, getting the tower, they put up a reasonable defense here and saving the mid of their own. And
wow, that is a fast Ags. Ewo.
Dire's middle tower
Ags now complete on Ewo. This Viper farmed out of control, and it doesn't really stop their blaze. They're going to just take this opportunity to easily move themselves into the Roach Pit. They will use the exorcism for this one, but they also still have those wards at the ready for any potential push they can follow up with. So we'll see what the next game plan is. It is going to be Ewo on his Viper that picks up the Aegis, and they step on out. It's looking like a really strong Not Today game right now, and a game which they very much needed to win. Already starting at 0-2 here in Starladder. A win is very, very important after putting on such a strong showing in Summit 2. You know, they have this high profile that they're building up for themselves. I imagine they want to make sure they kind of live up to it.
Yeah, most definitely, and they have done just that so far this game, especially with the second use of the exorcism there. They've been on point ever since they activated that one, and the Viper's in a great position here to really carry this game. I was talking about it being the Smash show, but if Ewo gets this much time this rapidly, then he can certainly bring it back. He'll go for a Monkey King bar next, and with this Hand of Midas and the amount of gold that he's been able to accrue, yeah, he's going to be having that in no time at all. The PA will have a BKB, but the very short cooldown on Viper Strike will make it difficult for her to maneuver, even if she is immune.
Yeah, they have all the answers for PA once she gets to that point. And here will be an Ice Blast towards the mid lane, but your puck does go down, it looks like, here along the bottom as they kind of swarm her. It's kind of a just split kill, no one really getting the last hit as the Creeper looks like it will pick it up, but this happens so dang quick, and really all it takes is just a swift Yule setup if they really want it, but they didn't even have it down here. It was just all the lockdown. It was literally
just Venge and Shadow Shaman going to town, long duration disables, and a hero that relies on being able to get out of those hard stuns. So
they have so much to stop someone like Puck. It's out of control. The amount of CC, the silence, the Yules, the stun, the shackle, the hex, all just basic abilities before they even get a hold of any sort of items to assist on top of that. But here's your ward's going to be dropped bottom lane to tier 2. Looks like it's going to be an easy grab for them. Top, they're looking for a trade of their own, but they're not even at the tower yet as Pain Gaming. This is 40R trying to push there in the lane with help nearby just in case they do get jumped on a defense. Mihawk is nearby with the Chrono at the ready at level 2 as he's level 11, but he might need to quickly time walk out. Can he make it out of the way? Nope, jump forward. They do catch him with the stun, and it's not going to be quick enough for him to react with a time walk. As Gren gets a nice lead in with the Centaur and does follow through with the kill.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note the ward situation right now. Both sides having extremely aggressive wards. We obviously saw the little fluff and stuff smoke coming out from Masoku there to get the 2 aggressive wards up from Not Today's side, but now having been able to invade the enemy jungle, Pain Gaming gotten 2 really good ones up as well, and even one in the mid. So these 3 wards are going to be able to enable them to find lots of pickoffs if they don't get dewarded soon, and Not Today are going to be forced to just go as 5, otherwise the pickoffs will continue.
So we have this continuation of 3 Pain members packed at the top. Well, Not Today are camping out mid, maybe seeing if they will be baited by a fight onto Viper, but Viper has an Aegis, so he doesn't really care about much. 2 minutes left on that Aegis as he continues to push out this mid-tier 2. Top lane Pain were persistent on trying to get something done on that tier 2, but they might have to pull it on back. As they do see him, they immediately pull out the Exorcism at the ready, and now they're going to swarm down this tower. No defense whatsoever at this point. Baga is going to step forward, throw out the stun, but Ewo is just going to easily right-click him down, and he gets just absolutely mauled by both the Exorcism and company. They almost managed to burst down Ewo, and that's all for the Aegis. They do manage to take it down, and King does get a revisit right there from the Shackle. This time he is able to shift and get himself out of there, but let's see for how long. Now moving on in. 40R steps away with BKB pop. Now Chrono going to be taken care of, and they finish off that puck on the backhand lines. Not today. Not letting up just yet. They are going to pull back one defense.
TP up top.
Oh, Smash making it go on AA. Oh, a solo AA trying to push is, boom, going to be shattered apart.
Very nice.
Smash
he
Dota.
Shift queued that Yule's out of his TP, and he just barely stopped Ancient Apparition from keeping away himself. So, VSW's Ancient ulti was really weak there. The Ice Blast, it looked like it could have hit like 3 heroes, and it didn't even debuff a single one. It just, they kind of thread the needle on it. And in the end, he just didn't make the contribution they needed. It was very difficult to bring down everybody, and in the end, they lose out big. They don't get the top tier 2, they lose their mid, and they lose out a number of lives. This is just going to build off momentum so that Not Today can feel really confident in the next Exorcism cycle.
As an AA, that's got to be like just one of the most troubling things. If you're going to roll an AA like this where you keep them way off in the different parts of the world so that you have the biggest AoE of your Ice Blast to work with in the upcoming fight, and the blast doesn't work out or really catch much, that's bad. Bottom lane, though, they're going to make a quick jump and immediately take down Faceless Void again. They really have Faceless Void's number, this little Hitman crew right here. But they take him down. If that Ice Blast doesn't connect, then really you're pretty much just a 4-man squad. AA is not going to be contributing anything else for the remainder of the period, and you're really kind of at a bit of a handicap.
Yep, but he'll be building up now. I mean, he's got his level 11. He wants to maybe build towards the Ags next off the back of that Midas. And yeah, he's just going to have to perform a little bit harder. In the meantime, Puck, another pickoff here. When's the last time you saw a Puck die 7 times in 25 minutes? It's just a hero that can escape so easily, but with this draft, it's too difficult. The Hex Shackles. People don't, like... Oh, nice BKB from Smash there. Picking
Smash pops the BKB,
away.
avoids the stun, and just conveniently happens to walk across a courier that was going to Secret Shop and just takes a couple of right clicks, and as if things couldn't get worse, Pain Gaming now lose their courier. It's apparent that King RD is on a bit of a rough game for him on this Puck. I mean, you already pointed out how many times he's been caught out, but just continues to be a bit of a struggle for him, and Pain Gaming are trying their best to bounce on back. PA is going to continue to farm with this mid lane. Maybe they can hope from some sort of bait and switch situation where they can make a gank play, but can't help but feel like a little more franticness coming out from Pain Gaming's side. Not Today are feeling pretty calm about this one. They have lots of farm behind them, both Viper and Death Prophet well at the top. The net worth over the 12K mark now. And this is looking like a point where Not Today can look to take one big team fight and swoop right through the base with all this assertive pushing power. They have both Exorcism at level 3 and a level 2 wards at the ready.
And it's going to be very difficult for Pain to move about the fights now. They do have a Force Staff and a Stampede available that will allow them to kind of break through things like a Hex initiation from the Shadow Shaman, which is very important because, again, the blur is a key aspect of the PA survivability, and that Hex does disable the blur. But, yeah, if you can force her Stampeder out long enough for her to get the BKB off, she can still commit to the fights, and there is some real chance for them to make things happen, but it's going to have to be perfect initiation because the AA still does not have the Aghanim Scepter, and it looks like Not Today are not stopping here. Dropping both ultimates here. The Master Ward's surely going to be coming in just a moment, and yeah, this is going to be a hard defense.
All right, jumping in is Gren immediately trying to take it to Shadow Shaman, but he's the one that gets taken down immediately with both BKBs popped. Puck goes down as well. Quickly 2 hit the deck. They only lose their Shadow Shaman in the end of it, but this tower eating huge damage now from both the wards and the Exorcism. It will quickly crumble. It has to be glyphed up, but here comes Mihawk in from the back rope. Jumps forward, big chrono catches both of them, and he begins to unload onto 40R. There's going to be a swap on the backside, but they end up taking him down. 4 Pain members down. They're looking for a 5-man wipe to put the cherry on top, and they get it, Blaze. That's all it takes. Now Not Today are going to take away the Pain Gaming's base here on the top. And I'm curious to see Pain Gaming, how much more can they fight through this?
Yeah, like I said, the ultimates had to be perfect from Pain. They really need to get their initiation off well, and we didn't see a Dream Coil or a Stampede used there. Grent jumped in just on the Shadow Shaman, tried to prevent him from dropping the wards, and he did stun him, but the wards already came through, and that initiation essentially was just him throwing his life away. And beyond that, the Ice Blast, it was nice, but they had already mech'd before it, so they were able to live through it. They were able to take the base, take the entire team, and pretty much lose nothing.
On the way out, they even take away some farm, and they even get a convenient little regen rune there for you. It's just, everything is coming up roses right now for Not Today as they walk away with the first real base siege of the game and feeling confident as ever they can step back, separate, and farm. And when Roche is back up, they'll move on in, they'll take their Roche and go for another big blow to the base of Pain Gaming. And Pain Gaming need to start digging deep, push out from this base, and maybe you consider the Hail Mary, the long 70-yard pass kind of a play where you pull out the smoke and just hope for either a good counter Roche fight or just some sort of serious pickoff that can allow you to make your own big comeback. But at this point, I think these are wishes. You're throwing pennies in a well.
Most definitely. This AA is actually not as farmed as I thought he was. I could have sworn he had like 1,000 more gold, but him dying and apparently just not having it available. I checked the courier and everything, and he is still very, very far from that X Scepter. So it's going to be a while, and right now Not Today are just putting on the accelerator here. They drop down so many aggressive Observer Wards. You can just look at the dire vision and what they can see of the Radiant side. They can penetrate from many angles. Right now it's going to be bottom lane. The Master Ward's coming out.
Yep, puts on the wards and says, Pain Gaming, you need to pay attention to this. No more for you to farm. You need to start coming in and making a fight happen. But really, what can they do? This tower already very low. Another jump in hoof stomp. The coil is going to catch this time, but do they have enough to follow through? Lots of damage. They are able to take down Masoko, and PA is trying to right-click down Smash while possible.
Oh, what a
Chrono, though, going to be catching out, and now 40R will go down under that bubble. Here we go. Shackle's going to catch up King RD. The Yules is going to be there. We're going to have a silence follow through. It's going to be his own silence here from the puck. But as he's already shifting his way back, they're catching on up. They do zap him down before he can make it into home base. PA will buy back. Desperate mode now for an all-or-nothing play to clean on up. But nope, he's going to be shackled down. This is with the second life of PA. That's got to be game, and it will be.
Really, really good game from NoT today. They were able to put on a clinic here. They end the game 27-11. Smash goes 5-1-13. They're able to, I think, the big thing for NoT today in their early game was using the jungle as efficiently as they did. I mean, handing Ewo and Smash so much easy farm beyond just the lane. I mean, obviously Ewo had a great laning phase, as you would expect him versus the Centaur, getting like a 5 or 6 minute Midas. But beyond that, they were able to build up so many stacks of creeps that were just taken up happily by NoT today's cores, and they were able to facilitate a lineup that generally is a little slow rolling. Like Death Prophet doesn't feel confident in this game until he gets the Yules plus a durability item for HP, and in this sense, Smash got it like 14 minutes into the game, and he was ready to rumble. So they had a really good momentum behind them, and I would have to say it's on the back of some really good supportive movement.
Excellent showing from NoT today. They started out staggering at a 0-2 record. This will, of course, bump them up a little bit now to 1-2. And for Pain Gaming, in fact, actually, I could just kind of show it here for everyone to look over right now. Let's go ahead and bring up the top 8 teams here. We got a lot of teams that still have yet to play, like EG, for example, 8th place, but they haven't even played a game yet, so that's how it goes. Pain Gaming, though, this now puts them down to a 2-3. Have a lot of games to play, a lot of opportunities to come up, but today it was just a One America game special. I hope everyone out there did enjoy it. If you did, show us some love and support. Catch me on my Twitter at KotLGuy. Catch Blaze, of course, over on his Twitter at BlazeCasting. To keep it up with Starladder action and where things are going, you can always catch the VODs out on our YouTube for Beyond the Summit. And well, a pleasure as always. Blaze, thanks so much again for joining me. It's just a one-man show here normally, but I'm always glad to have you remotely. For everyone else, thanks for coming by and supporting. We'll be back later for more Dota action. Sit tight.